Have you ever had an experience where something happens to you, something positive, something that you're happy about, you're joyful, you're rejoicing, you're telling everybody, you're doing Thanksgiving in the church, only along the line after a short time, this thing that happened that you thought it was coming from God, you start to doubt, you start to realize that no, you're not sure that it can't be God that sent this to you. A lot of us have had this experience. We've been in that situation several times. You might meet someone today and it looks like the person is God sent. You're so happy, you're so thankful to God, you're jumping up, you're telling everybody. Only after like a few months, you start to realize that no, it cannot be God that sent this person to my life because of the amount of pain that person may have caused your life. It happens with a lot of things, maybe a job, maybe a friend, maybe even a child. A lot of things, it comes in various ways. And I think the reason why we keep falling victim to this thing is because we don't know how to differentiate the gifts that come from God and the gifts that come from the darkness. We forget that. I think we take it for granted that if anything that we like, anything that makes us happy happens, it must be coming from God. It must be a blessing from God. And we forget that the darkness also gives gifts. In fact, even more than the light, the darkness is always very eager to run and present something that we are looking for, something that we are desiring to us, so that we can think that it is the light. And once we jump on it, grab it with both hands, then after a while we start to see that no, this cannot be from light, because the amount of pain and sorrow that may start coming from it, a gift that comes from the light cannot cause something like that. I have been in that situation several times myself, and I've come to realize that no, it's not everything that happens to me that is positive in the beginning that is coming from God. It got me to really start thinking, really start observing and looking into my own life. That when something happens to you, take your time. You need to take your time to cross-check, to be sure that this is a gift from God before you jump on it. Otherwise, you might be making a mistake. And after a short time, you start to see it. It may be the devil giving you a gift with right hand, only to take it back with left hand tomorrow. And when he will take it and take it along with other things. You would have lost more than you gained from even getting that thing. So how can you tell a gift that is coming from God as opposed to a gift that is coming from the darkness? When a gift is coming from God, number one, it is always in answer to a silent prayer that you have within yourself. You may not have told anybody. A deep silent prayer within yourself is always in answer to that. Secondly, when a gift is coming from the light, it is always something that will help you spiritually. There is always an element to push you forward, to enhance your spiritual life. It cannot just be just mundane, just for your own material enjoyment and gain. No, there must be an element of spiritual upliftment inside that gift. When a gift is coming from God, you can also determine it through your own response to that thing. The way you will respond will be very different from the way you respond to other things that happen to you. You're going to be overwhelmed with gratitude. You will feel so humbled. You will most likely fall down on your knees, probably even fall on the floor. You will just find yourself just overwhelmed with gratitude. You won't feel like jumping up. You won't feel like calling people on the phone, telling so many people, hey, all your enemies, let them come and hear today. It will take you a while before you will even tell people. That is how you know a gift from God. Another one, when something you have received is coming from the light, apart from just that thing coming to you, that positive gift, that blessing coming to you, it's almost as if it opens doors for other things too. If there were other things that were bothering you before, if you had other problems, all of a sudden you won't be feeling them again. If you had an issue with someone, all of a sudden you find out that you're no longer angry with that person. You don't even know how. You just don't feel that anger again. It has a way of melting away with everything that is not of the light when it comes to you. That is how you know a gift from the light. But when a gift is not coming from God, let me tell you how you are most likely going to act. First of all, it's usually in an answer to a desire, a selfish interest, a personal desire, something we want to achieve in order to show to others, in order to showcase ourselves. We can now shine in front of others. When we have those desires to achieve this, we want to buy a car, we want to have this job so that somebody will know that you have arrived. Those kind of desires that are not pure desires that this thing you want to have it so that it can help you to serve God. No, there are things you want to achieve so that you can use it to shine for the world. You want to buy a car, you want to buy property, you want to get this. Maybe you want to even have a child so that you can use it to shine for people. Whenever you have a desire that is geared towards using it to achieve a selfish motive, mind you, the answer to that prayer that you are making is going to come to you from the wrong source. But because we are not discerning, we don't pay attention, we don't live consciously, then when the answer comes, we still jump up and say it's coming from God. And secondly, when a gift is coming from the darkness, it usually comes in a very flashy way. It usually comes very flashy, very braggadocious. The answer is very answerish. Like it's so obvious that this is my answer. This is my answer. It's usually so obvious. Let me say you're trying to get a property, for instance, and then someone comes. Let me say someone comes with this plan that you will make this money. You make this money. It's so clear that if I make this money now, I will be able to achieve this property. The answer is always very clear. It's usually very obvious that you are going to achieve what you want to achieve through this means. Unlike when it's coming from the light, it doesn't look it at all. It's usually very disguised. That's why we usually miss it, because it doesn't look like it. If you have been desiring a job and you have been silently asking the Lord to provide you with a means of livelihood, the way you're going to get that job, if someone should tell you that this is the person that will help you get that job, you will not believe it. Maybe it may be a random person that is not even important in your life, a random stranger. You will be surprised that it is through this person that prayer you have been praying to God is going to be answered. And most times we miss it because we think that because we're asking the Lord for this, it has to come in a way that will be obvious to us that this is moving towards this channel. So most times we miss it. The things of the light never comes in the way we expect with our human eyes. Unlike when it's things of the darkness, he will present it in a way that when imagine you are looking for a job, and maybe you meet a friend, and your friend's spouse, for instance, works in the same industry that you're praying to enter. It's already obvious that this person can connect you and you get that job. So we really start feeling, God has blessed me. Oh, hey, my friend, I say, cannot believe it, that this thing is about to happen. It's about to happen. God, I thank you. It's about to happen. It always looks very obvious. And after that person has connected you to that job, 3 months down the line, you start to see things that you did not believe. How come is God who gave you this job? If at the end of the day, this is what you are seeing, then things start to happen that you cannot believe. At the end of the day, getting that job becomes one of the biggest mistakes you have made. It has happened to us over and over again. And because we will not take our time to discern who is giving us this gift before we jump, then we'll keep repeating the same cycle over and over. So check your lives now, whatever stage you are, whatever is going on around you. If you find out that something is looking so obvious that your prayers are going to be answered through this, be very, very careful in dealing with that thing. It most likely may not be coming from the light. If you're looking for a spouse and then all of a sudden, this guy or this lady presents herself who is looking like so much like an answer to all your prayers, it's most likely not going to be coming from God. Because when it's coming from the light, it doesn't look like it. The day the thing will come to you, you will be so surprised. You will be overwhelmed. You will be so surprised. You will not even believe because you never saw it coming. The things of the light, it doesn't showcase itself. It's usually the things that come from darkness that it usually showcases itself like, I am here to answer your prayers. I am here to give you happiness. I'm here to give you what you want. That's one thing we need to look out for. Now, coming to the response, when you receive a gift and it's not coming from God, you cannot keep quiet about it. You will not be able to keep quiet about it. You will tell this person, you will call Thanksgiving, you will do Saraka, you will do this one. There is nobody around you that will not know. You will put it on your social media. People will know. You will not be able to keep quiet about it. Why? Because the inner gratitude is lacking. So there will be so much outward noise being made about this thing that's happened to us. Meanwhile, in all these things, you may not have sat down with yourself actually to say a prayer of gratitude to God. And I think the reason why this thing happens is because truly, the Spirit knows that this thing is not coming from God. So our response is usually very, very external, very outward. You find yourself feeling so happy. You're most likely, let's say you receive that news, that good news you have been expecting. You're most likely to jump up. Hey, you're most likely to feel so happy. Jump up. God has done it for me. Oh, hey, you pick up phone. You call this person. You call this person. That is most likely how you're going to react when the gift is not coming from God. you're not going to be able to keep it quiet. Even if you don't end up screaming, you must tell your friends, you must tell people around you, your family, look at what's going on. It's almost always like that. There are anytime something is not coming from God, it will look like a good thing in the beginning, but at the end of the day, it will cause you pain. It will still cause you setback in your spiritual life. You see, living a weakened life is not a bed of roses. In fact, if you know that you don't have energy, it's better to just continue slumbering